Holt die Athleten herein.
For the compound men's semi-final matchup number 2.
Semi-final number 2 in the compound men's individual competition. Well, it's the old guard versus the new guard here. Netherlands taking on India. Huge amounts of the team and supporters in the crowd packing out this Olympic Plaza archery range. And that's where we're going to go right now.
On target number 1, representing India.
Auf Scheibe Nummer 1 für Indien.
Ojas Pravin Deotale. On target number 2, representing the Netherlands.
Auf Scheibe Nummer 2 für die Niederlande.
Schloesser. The line judge for this matchup is Katerina Goncharova.
So here we go, world number 1, Mike Schloesser from the Netherlands is 29 years old, takes on the 21-year-old Ojas Pravin Deotale from India, the world number 34. Is it the master versus the underdog?
Yes, it is, I think. Which is not, so it's not a given that Mike will win this. But I think in this story, Deotale is definitely the underdog.
Gabi Schloesser there with the sunglasses on. Formerly an archer for Mexico. Married Mike Schloesser a few years back. And he's here to support him now. Shoots for the Netherlands herself. And it will be Mr. Perfect to get this semi-final underway.
That's it.
Oh, he's fallen asleep then. A full draw.
I feel like these two shots, if they are anything to base anything off, they were shot better than what we saw in the quarterfinal against Martin Damsbo. That was exactly behind the other arrow, so it's difficult to see, but I think it was on the line of the 10.
Perfect score. And that is a perfect score.
If you're going to stay in contact with Mike Schloesser, you're giving yourself a chance.
Yeah, that's what we concluded in the last match. We saw him shoot a 9 in his last arrow again, but I think he was also confused about that, so it was not necessarily a mental block. But yeah, that's the best tactique in any case, but especially against Mike, because you know he's an incredible shooter. He will shoot a high score. So you will have to keep close to him to have a shot.
Yeah, that there you get a view of that high arrow there from Deotale. He looks pretty relaxed, looks pretty comfortable, and I guess to some extent he's got nothing to lose here.
Yeah, well, like you say, he can only win. It's not like anybody expected him beforehand to win the World Championships, and he's shooting like arguably as the underdog in this Final Four. Although Cybulski is also, he wasn't really expected to be in the Final Four.
It's been a crazy year for new faces, isn't it? And there's the man behind the compounders in India, the Italian Sergio Pagni. Certainly has made a difference.
Yeah, it's difficult to say how much of a difference he made, because obviously before he was there, they also had international success. But I would say every once in a while rather than the whole year through. Right now, we're seeing that if you're going to shoot against somebody from India, especially in the compound division, it's just you need to have a good match if you want to win.
Schlosser gets end number 2 underway with an X.
And I really enjoy both of these archers' technique, or shooting style, maybe I should refer it as. Really, laid back, waiting for the shot to happen rather than forcing it in the middle. So it's a stark contrast with what we just saw from Sabisky. And I do think, especially in wind still weather, a more relaxed technique is gonna do better. And I think that's also maybe the reason that Sabisky did so well this week, because he is used to forcing his arrows in the middle if it's windy or not. Speaking of wind, there's a bit of wind there blowing through the hairs of Pravin Deotale.
Yeah, just a little fluttering in the background of the flags. The feather flags on the left-hand side of your screen looking buffeted a little bit more than the taller ones at the top, and so the wind might be a little bit changeable through the flight of the arrow as well.
Yeah, although that is a little bit less the case with compound archery than it is with recurve archery, where they shoot over 70 meters rather than 50 meters, and here we can see the compound arrows don't actually go that high up into the air. I'd say they probably maybe elevate 2 meters or something like that, whereas the recurve arrows in some cases will elevate over 4 meters in their parabole to the target.
10-mal bei Weltmeisterschaften und erinnert 3-mal in einem Weltcup und dann noch einmal bei einem internationalen Event dabei gewesen.
Technically, we're going to get into mathematics and mechanics here. The arrow actually travels further than 70 meters.
Yeah, technically speaking, it will, because if you were to draw out that curve into a straight line, it would probably be further than 70, or it would be further than 70 meters, or 50 meters in this instance. Ironically, I think if I were to start calculating this, the man on screen right now would be the one I would send a message, because he is actually an engineer and is very good at maths and physics. That's Marcel van Apeldoorn, the compound coach of the Netherlands. He works as a engineer in airspace.
Part-time national archery coach.
Correct, yeah.
He's doing all right, isn't he?
Well, we are talking about engineering and physics. Mike and Pravin are just continuing to shoot 10s.
9.
You had to
He
say
said.
it, didn't you? You had to say it. It's our first drop point in the match from Schloesser.
10, 10, 10, and that is a perfect score.
3 perfects in a row from Ojas Pravin Deotale, and he's gone 1 point clear. We get back into this. Is it better to be the chaser or the one being chased?
Well, Mikey is in a position right now where he could potentially put a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Pravin Deotale. So if he manages to just keep shooting the way he knows he can shoot, get close to him and put a huge amount of pressure on those last couple of arrows, I think there might be a chance for him to still get back into his match. But it will be difficult because we know how consistent he has been shooting this year. Deotale, that is.
Kann das natürlich so ein entscheidender Moment gewesen sein, aber ich glaube, wir sind hier so gut dabei heute, es kann alles passieren und deswegen ist noch alles drin für beide Schützen, aber die Qualität dieses Halbfinales ist
Gabby Schloesser, now she's on camera.
Anything is possible. Everything is possible if you put your mind to it. Let's see.
Getting right behind this man, her man, Mike Schloesser.
90 to 89.
It's amazing that we are, once we get through this match, just 2 to go on Compound Saturday. Of course, the most important 2, the medal matches. But they've whizzed through this, haven't they?
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. That was a really good shot by Mike. Not only where it hit, but also the way it was executed.
See. That's center.
So
far, he's dealing with the pressure really well.
It's incredible. It really is. If he can stay perfect through the 4th, Deotale is putting himself in an incredible position here. Longer hold from Schloesser, but still in the middle of the target. 119, but potential for a 120 here. Just on the line.
Just enough. I mean, exactly what he needed to stay in the lead.
But perhaps a sign of nerves, although if he was nervous, wouldn't the arrow be dropping down? Or
well, it could go anywhere. Depends on the archer. Sometimes you'll see that archers kind of cramp up when they get nervous, and then typically the arrow will go lower. But you can also overdo it. You can also put too much into the arrow, and then it will typically elevate. It will go higher.
Perhaps an indication that Deotale is human after all. Not outside the 10 just yet. Schloesser just with the 110 means that he will shoot fast in the final regulation end. There's a big opportunity here for 2 names to appear in the final that we definitely wouldn't have predicted before the competition started. We know that Łukasz Szabelski from Poland is already in. And you can just see a little bit of tension on the faces of the Indian administration here in Berlin. What on earth is going to be going through the minds of these athletes? Schloesser, of course, has been here many times before.
He is continuously putting pressure on Pravin Deotale. And it's a similar situation to the last match where we saw that the group of Kim Jong-ho was actually smaller than the one from Szabelski, but in the end it doesn't matter as long as you shoot more points. And that, I think, is going to be very important.
Yeah. Room to breathe here. Oh, now. Ooh, that's gone into the 9. It's gone into another hole. Gone for an asterisk for a measure. Schloesser just has to put a 10 down. Bit wobbly at the end, but he does that for 148. So 10 for the win. In fact, 9 may be enough. 10 to make sure, and 10 it is. It matters not what happens with the middle arrow. Of course they'll go and measure it. Of course they'll get the correct score value for it. But what a win here for the Indian, dropping, 1 point potentially throughout to win 149 to 148. And Ojas Pravin Deotale goes into the gold medal match, the Indian, where he'll face Łukasz Shabilski from Poland. Next up, it will be perhaps the two that we might have thought would be favourites for the gold medal match. Mike Schloesser facing Kim Jong-oh for the bronze medal. But, Chef, what a match from this young Indian.
Yeah, you could see that the pressure that Mike was putting on him was actually a pressure, you know, he was feeling it. But that second 9 by Mike in the last end was maybe just a little too much.
Now, talking about carrying momentum, just imagine what kind of momentum Ojas Pravin Deotale has right now after winning his quarterfinal matchup earlier today against Przemysław Koniecki, defeating Mike Schloesser now.
There we have it. Confirmation that Ojas Pravin Deotale goes into the gold medal match.